Welcome to Fin Business. As part of our knowledge series, we are going to talk about different topics with great insights. Today, we are going to discuss reconciliation settlements. Rajnish, I will start with you directly. If I ask you, or if you could explain me, what are the pain points when it comes to the reconciliation settlement for banks?
When you are talking about a point-to-point payment, the source and destination both are known, and there is only one entity in between. Okay, so I want to give money to you. You want to take money from me. There is a channel through which I do it. So you give me your address. I know my address. There is an entity which verifies and gives it to you.
True.
As long as these are linear and limited payments, there is no problem. Imagine multiplied by say a billion times. Billions, 100 million sources, 100 million destinations, and variety of transactions happening. It means there are more than a billion transactions now. So to be able to be sure that the source was correct and the destination was also correct, we obviously need to take a check. So that is where the reconciliation systems were born. So the challenge was, so the reconciliation systems, because of the sheer scale of digital, have grown exponentially, and that is why the sampling method, which was adequate before, is now no more adequate.
Okay.
It means we need to be able to reconcile and to the last dot. That requires a tremendous effort. It means it can't be manual, it has to be automated. If it is to be automated, the software which is going to do it has to be robust enough and error-free enough so as not to make a mistake, because in a billion payment reconciliation, if you make a mistake, the consequences could be disastrous. It means software has to be powerful, accurate, to the point.
Right.
Error-free. The second thing is that when the money is being sent, people want to keep a copy of account. They want to tally their accounts. It means I need to give them a timely information to be able to reconcile their accounts. Now, because there is a batch process which is running here, because the size is too huge, otherwise the real-time reconciliation systems will require too much of computing power. So it is done in a batch manner. It means there is a delay. So the second challenge which comes is that first is scale, second is error, third is time taken. So the eventual goal is to be able to do a real-time reconciliation.
So what is the current mode that the bank apply? I mean, do they still go for a file-based model, or they do apply real-time?
See, everybody is following a different method.
Okay.
If it is a small size, manual reconciliations are being done, and you are using Excel, so you are using such basic softwares to be able to reconcile, or a basic accounting software will do it for you. But when you are talking about B2B and B2C, which are at a medium scale, of course you need a reconciliation system. Okay, so most of the banks or the people who are involved in payment and settlement will have a reconciliation system. But when you are also providing settlement services to others, because they don't have the system, it means you are doing the settlement and reconciliation for them. Then the responsibility goes up.
True.
And that is where the much better software, much better systems are required. So to answer this, some people are doing it manually. If the volume is less and it can be accurate, the source and destinations can be accurately identified and matched, and there is no time pressure. If you are going for larger real-time settlement systems, then that is where it becomes a problem. So if you look at credit cards, typical settlement cycle, ideally it should be immediate. You have paid, I have paid, source is known, you are the destination, you are also known, transaction has been verified, authenticated, then it should be actually real time. But the problem is again sheer number of transactions. So there is a delay in terms of card settlements, for example, in terms of merchant reconciliation and systems, for example, because there could be refunds, there could be inaccurate orders, there could be failed transactions.
Right.
So there typically it is T+1 to up to T+15. So sampling is still being done. So what is needed? The three challenges are there: the scale, the accuracy, the near real-time, almost real-time reconciliations, and because of these three, a cost factor comes in.
Okay. So Kundan, I will take you into picture right now. So what is, because of your global expertise, I would like to understand, how is the train globally? What kind of facilities global banks generally use? Because, if you look at India, 5 to 15% of the cost of the operation goes specifically into reconciliation settlements, because most of the times the transactions are not completed and it takes 45 days. So what is the trend that happens globally? How the global banks manage reconciliation settlement?
See, reconciliation as an industry, as rightly mentioned by Rajnish, is a global problem and a challenge which is ever growing. The businesses are growing, banks are getting more traction, more business. A country like India is growing leaps and bounds in terms of digitization.
Absolutely.
The volume of transaction is going, is just multiplying. Now, from a banking perspective, there are multiple businesses involved in in this whole reconciliation. We have consumer retail customers, who are doing the ATM transaction services, credit cards. You have corporate customers who are using your Nostro bank accounts. You have the trade side of it, foreign exchange remittances. Then now you have these utility payments. You could pay through mobile and electronic bill. You pay through your mobile bill and all of it. So there are multiple channels getting added every day. Across these multiple channels, there are multiple sources behind them.
Absolutely.
So data as mentioned, it's a point to point. Where is the payment getting? Payment is getting processed, but where at the back end is the payment getting adjusted between the two is a challenge. And the challenge how the global markets have been addressing over the period of time, and somebody like us, we offer expertise in this area where we have a platform which is called AutoRecon, which does end-to-end transaction lifecycle management from a point in time it originates to the point in time it ends.
Okay.
We've just kind of moved a little ahead in terms of our technology and the way we've been partnering up with the large banking clients overseas. Recon becomes a starting point, and it's literally a very configurable Recon area. You want to configure these 3 items, these 7 items, you can just do it on the fly. And somebody who's doing that need not be a specialist in that domain and area. Anyone who understands what is a business problem, where the leakage is happening between the multiple sources, can configure the business rules. And these business rules can be as stringent as it may have to be, or can be relaxed based on the kind of business that you are into. For a treasury business, you cannot have any tolerance in there, so you have to have the fields matching 100%. But what happens is once the Recon runs, and there I'll go back to the scale, the problem of the scale. We've been handling 1 million transactions in about 2.5 minutes. So 1 million transactions get processed in our system in less than 2.5 minutes in there. Now, the whole input, if it is a real time, then on a real time you get to see the balancing as of that time. But if the data is coming in a batch based, then you see it at T+1 or a T+2. True. We have done both the models. We have clients, banks, largely in about 7 different countries. Some of the banks are using batch based processing. Which is fine, that's how they want to do it. They are happy to do it T+1, T+2. Some banks are using real-time interfacing between the multiple sources, channels that comes in.
Okay, so Rajnish Kundan has given a lot of solutions actually, and he somehow feels that it need to be resolved at real time. Now, if I ask you, because RBI has a clear mandate that the customer liability should be minimum. The customer should have a minimum liability. So banks lose a lot of money over there, banks lose a lot of time over there. Where are we lacking? If you want to find a dispute resolution for this reconciliation settlement, where are we lacking?
See, I would not say that we are lacking. It's a business at the end of the day. So, when there are more than one entity, or these are only one to point transactions, he can reconcile easily. But there, like he said, there are multiple entities, multiple sources of data, multiple requirements to settle, do reconciliation in a time-bound manner. That is where this thing comes in. So, what I believe is that what is going to happen, and the artificial intelligence is fine. The platforms are already there. The platforms like AutoRecon, they are in one form or shape. They are already being implemented. E-commerce is driving another boom, so that is another reconciliation challenge which is coming up. Okay. So the important point is that to define a threshold, define a margin of error, have a trade-off. Because the perfections are right now at this point, at least I don't see in next 2 to 5 years that kind of perfection is going to be achieved, that you can have 100% recon in real time. Cost will be too much to do that. Instead of better to go with a margin of error, set aside a set of one percentage of your fund. Okay, this much could be there. So we will minimize customer liability. So the trade-off which we are doing is that, or people would be doing is, if I can't 100% reconcile 100% in the required time frame, it means somebody is going to lose money.
Right.
So as a part of overall by profit, I am setting aside say 1%. And if a customer raises a dispute, okay, I will first compensate him and solve it later. Okay. This is what happens in the ATM disputes also. If you look at that 7 days dispute settlement which has come in, if you have been shortchanged at the ATM by mistake, you have to raise a request. The acquiring bank sends it to the issuing bank. The issuing bank actually sends a request to the acquiring bank that this customer's money is shortchanged. Earlier it used to take ages, then it became 15 days, then mandate came for 7 days. In 7 days also at times it is very difficult to reconcile. So what is happening in the settlement is happening on a good faith. It means the customer is compensated.
Okay, so Kundan, again I would like to ask you, what kind of trends have you seen emerging in last 12 months of reconciliation settlement?
The global trends have been moving towards a proactive way of doing reconciliation, which means reconciliation in an ideal world is not needed. It's a cost to the organization. The challenges as an outcome to reconciliation is your customer service. You get more disputes, and as rightly mentioned, dispute is nothing but a cost, a heavy duty cost to the customer service and to the entire organization. Now the trends are, you've got to link the disputes with the reconciliation with the chargeback. These are three components, and we are watching a few of these even public sector banks in India are coming up with these models and trying to do recon as a service. We call it as recon or RAS, RAAS, reconciliation as a service. Now with this service, you have a dispute, a customer calls up, he has a problem with the ATM, short change happened, he didn't get his money back, he calls up and he makes a dispute. Now the dispute, the moment he calls up, because the reconciliation is, if not real time T+1, the customer service person in a 24 hours window will tell the customer that, hey, your money is safe. Whether it's a retail customer, which is a consumer, whether it's a corporate customer, wherein you have a correspondent bank doing a Nostro transaction to your mirror account, it can be handled at that point in time as well. You're having a utility payment being made by a customer to an overseas or a transaction from an FX. So all through an integrated layer of a dispute with the chargeback, with the reconciliation, with the analytics. These are, I would say, 4 pillars that are in the trend.
So do you find automation is the best solution for these problems, because it might be 7 days, it might be 15 days, or it might be 45 days also to resolve these issues?
For sure, automation is the only answer to this. Automation done extremely carefully in a more proactive way. The way industry is moving in India, of course, it's a reactive way of handling the challenges that has come, and all the good challenges to have. The entire digitization, demonetization, whatever is thrown up is all good problems to have, and of course people are dealing with it. But as financial institutions, as the ecosystem, the preparedness level has to go up.
Just to add to what Kundan said, automation is the way to go. But like I said, the cost of automation could be, at this point of time, is very, very high.
Right.
Okay, to achieve a near perfect settlement in a near perfect real time scenario, like you mentioned, an ideal thing, if we have to automate, the cost is going to be very high, and that cost cannot be passed on to anybody else.
Right.
Okay. So
do you want to say that
there
as
are alternatives
of now,
emerging to that?
Right.
Okay. So like you mentioned, artificial intelligence for that matter is coming up. So it means you can proactively start detecting the patterns. If your reconciliation go wrong?
Right.
So artificial intelligence can help identify the right kind of reconciliation which are happening, the wrong kind of reconciliation which are happening, the exceptions which are getting through, and keep combine it with machine learning. The process itself will improve. The second part which is there is that I am again saying that 100% automation will come at a too big a cost. So the technologies like blockchain are emerging. It means blockchain is nothing but a trusted network. So the technologies like blockchain, which are building a distributed ledger and a trusted network, and for which obviously collaboration is very important for all the entities to come there, will solve that problem of automation to some extent by being able to trust a network and reconcile rather than go for a zero error rate or a 100% real-time network. So blockchain is also going to help.
Any last submission, Kundan, on that note? Because we all agree to the point that automation is important, but there are a couple of things which will also reduce the burden of the reconciliation settlement going ahead, like Rajnish said, whether there will be terminals, there will be device, they will connect to each other, and there will be a resolution. So any submission on that point?
The way I look at it is there's been better adoption of onboarding newer technologies by the financial institutions. A company like us have got a forte with the overseas banks. It's a trusted relationship. A B2B platform setting up in the bank environment is a very tough thing to do without being a known brand or being an early startup. But then that's a trust that the service providers or the platform providers like us bring to the table with the esteemed banks organizations.
Okay. So all right, Rajnish, thank you so much, Kundan, for talking to us. It was great talking to you. Good knowledge.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for being
Pleasure
part
being
of the
here.
Bean business.
Same here.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, sir.